And it's good news with Dick Baumbach. How are you today, Mr. Baumbach?
I am doing great, and I would love to follow up on 94.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are kind of wondering what that 94 meant. So let's get right into it. It's 94-year-old graduates college online with bachelor's and a 4.0 GPA. I didn't know that you were doing online studies.
Give me a break. I'm a little younger than that.
Yeah, I know. I had to go there, though.
Well, this is Amy Creighton, and she said to herself a little while ago, she just did not want to sit around and watch Netflix all day. So she went back to school, and she went to Southern New Hampshire University, and she graduated just recently with a Bachelor of Arts degree in creative writing and English, and she also got a 4.0. But she was unable to get to the New England for the graduation ceremony, so the SNHU president, Paul LeBlanc, plus several of his staff, flew to her home in Hawaii.
No way.
I wonder why Hawaii, and to throw her a surprise party.
Wow.
And she put her education on hold in 1964 so she could raise her kids full time. And she chose SNHU because it reminded her of the region she grew up in, New Hampshire,
right,
when she was a child. And so now here's the kicker. She is now enrolled in the master's degree program.
At 94?
At 94.
Wow.
I mean,
well, I guess it's true in what they say. You're never too old to learn.
Well, right. And here's a situation where so many older people now are not saying, let me just sit and watch TV. They're doing something.
Right, right. I mean, I look back and I remember when my grandparents were 60 years old.
Right.
And they were like old.
Right.
Old. And I'm 60 years old. I'm planning on climbing 14,000 plus mountains this year.
Right. I know.
It's amazing. It really is.
You know, and we think even of our parents. Like my dad worked for A&P,
mm-hmm.
and he retired at the age of 65. That was it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I am now 100. No, I'm only kidding. But
we'll tell him the real age. It's 101.
No, not. Okay.
No, but you look great for 65. You really do.
I wish I was.
The next story. This is I didn't realize they had firefighters all the way out in Siberia. And Siberian firefighters save 150 piglets from a farm fire.
Yeah, now, like you just said, and that's why I picked this story. A bunch of firefighters in the village of Chernaka Reka, it's near Tomovsk, whichever that is, but there was a fire at a farm, and it took them 4 hours to put the fire out. But somebody noticed that there were these piglets in one of the buildings that was starting to get on fire. And they used a bucket brigade to pass every piglet out of there and save the life.
Wow. Now, people got to understand, too, where Siberia is. I mean, it's always really cold. It's amazing that they had any water that flowed right. to put out a fire.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, one of them was asked about it, and they said, piglets are human also. We wanted to save their lives.
Wow. That's pretty brave. Speaking of brave, this next story is this is amazing. I don't know if I could do this. I guess I could if I had to, but a policeman carries a pregnant woman to a hospital through heavy snow.
Yep. And this, again, is a situation. It's obviously not in the Florida area, but it was up in the Wisconsin area. This woman, 23 years old, She's named Cammie. They only will give her first name.
She only weighed 70 pounds. No.
No. She went into labor, and they were on a little village called Blount, and it was too snow-driven to get any vehicles in. So 2 police officers who don't want to be identified walked over 2 miles and then carried her out.
That's amazing.
I know.
What happened to the sleds? No.
Well, the thing is, what hit me too. These are stories, like we said before. You haven't heard anything about.
No, I check a lot of different outlets, and I have not heard that story, and that's an amazing story.
And Cammie gave birth to a healthy baby girl.
Wow. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you had a story that was a real heartstring tugger, and you've done it to us again. You've come up with a story that's a real, I don't want to say tearjerker, but I would suggest if you have Kleenex that you probably want to pull them up close, because this story is about a young boy who, instead of selling lemonade, he has a free toy stand for the less fortunate.
Yep. This is interesting. It's Florida. It happened outside of Hudson, Florida.
Oh, wow. I know what Hudson is.
Okay.
Yep.
And Blake Work, he's 6 years old, and he was talking about doing something to, sell lemonade or something. And then all of a sudden, he looked at all the toys in his room, and he said, "Mom, there's a lot of kids in my school that don't have any toys. So I want, instead of selling lemonade, I want to give my toys away that I don't want to play with anymore."
Wow.
So he went out in front of his house, and he started giving them away, and it was picked up by the local media, and he stayed there for 4 hours and distributed gifts to kids, but he also made sure that they really needed the gifts.
Right.
And his mom and dad are like so proud of Blake.
Wow. That's an indication of good parenting. And it's if you think back to what people were saying about during the campaign last year, they said if you want to know about a person, look at their children.
Right.
And that's a good indication of how that young man was raised. Yeah.
Well, and also, here's one other thing Blake did. The toys he didn't sell, he took them to his school, to his kindergarten teacher, and said, "Give these to kids if they do something good."
Oh, wow.
6 years old.
6 years old. Yeah, we'll be hearing about him when he gets older, I'm sure. It's like the what shoe company is it? Zappos or one of them that you buy a pair of shoes, I'll give you a pair of shoes, or
right. They give.
Yeah.
One.
It's I wonder if he was like that when he was a kid that started that.
Yeah. I mean, and you think when you talk about the Blakes and the other boy we talked about, to them this is nothing big.
Yeah, this is and they're young kids too, 6
right.
years old. Wow. So what do you have for us next week there, Mr. Baumbach?
Let's just say if we need a haircut, will talk to me about it.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of funny stories we could talk about at haircuts. So until next week, have a great day there, Mr. Baumbach.
You too, Jeff. Take care.
Take care.